Here's John McLaughlin. And, John, the Denver Nuggets can clinch a playoff berth today.
Well, they certainly hope they do. They haven't been playing well lately. They lost 6 of the last 8 games, and Coach Larry Brown of the Nuggets says they're not playing with a lot of confidence, and he's trying to talk to his club about going out and just playing with a little bit more confidence and taking each game one at a time. They're a little concerned in those areas.
You know, Houston's had a long year because of injuries, but they could be a real spoiler, as evidenced last night by their win over Philadelphia.
They can certainly be spoilers, and with a guy like Calvin Murphy on your club, you're always a potential winner. He can score a lot of points. He's been doing it for some time. He's a winner, and they still have some players on that team that want to knock these other clubs off for sure. You know, Houston has played very tough against Denver, even though they've lost the first 2 games. Let's check now the starting lineups for this afternoon's game. Going to have a little change. Alonzo Bradley, who started last night at 13 points, will open at 1 forward. Robert Reed, the rookie, Kevin Kunert, John Lucas, and Calvin Murphy. Denver, well, they've been starting Anthony Roberts, the young rookie from Oral Roberts, at 1 forward, along with Bob Jones, Issel, Thompson, and Bobby Wilkerson. Our 2 officials for today's game. Number 19, with his back to you, Jim Capers, and he's assisted by Hugh Evans. And Kevin Kunert, number 44, will go up at center circle against Bob Jones. Kunert, according to Tom Nasalki, has played very well, but he's really missed. Moses Malone has been out of the lineup with that injury. The tip goes off to Denver. This is Bobby Wilkerson, and what a quarterback he has become for this basketball team. Dan Issel, Anthony Roberts trying to give chase, and a turnover to start our game, John. Well, I think that's a typical example of how Denver has been playing lately, and Larry Brown very concerned with their turnovers and somewhat of the lackadaisical play. That time, Bobby Jones started to cut through the middle and just didn't see the pass coming. Well, you know, Denver has lost 6 of their last 8. They've lost 8 games at home, including Friday night against Seattle. That's just not indicative of their play. No, it isn't. And obviously the pressure's there. And not only do the players put it on themselves, the coaches, the entire organization here in Denver, they're a very fine organization, but the fans getting a little restless also. All right, let's check it now. Kevin Kunert has the ball. He kicks it out now to Bradley, the young man from Texas Southern that they picked up from Indiana. Calvin Murphy on the drive, and he loves to shoot from the baseline. He sure does, and that's part of the strategy, of course. Force Calvin Murphy to his left, try to give as much help as possible. They know that he's going to shoot, and potentially the Rockets won at least 40 points out of Calvin today. You wonder what that delay was about. The ball kicked out, hit the timer, reset the time clock, so we had to delay the game to get it ready to go. We're ready to go now. Just underway. Here's John Lucas, the number 1 draft pick a year ago of all the NBA. Bobby Jones brings it down to Thompson. Anthony Roberts, who started now the last 6 games for the Denver Nuggets. Thompson. Kunert with a rebound. Thompson, in the first game between these 2 teams this year, had 41 points. Lucas to Murphy. There's his shot, John. That is his shot, and he does it so very well. He puts a lot of arch on the ball. It's very difficult for the big guys to block it, but they must continue to go out and try to intimidate that shot. Boy, has he been something, averaging over 30 points since the All-Star break. He got a foul inside. As one thing about Calvin Murphy, he may be at 5'9", the best 5'9" player to ever play this game. Well, it's a real tribute to his ability. He's looking at everyone's waist in there. That's playing to the belly button, right? That foul is on Kunert, by the way. Rebound Wilkerson, batted away by Bradley. It will be Denver's basketball. The Denver Nuggets, with a win today, could clinch a playoff berth. However, if Milwaukee would lose, then they would even be in better shape. And then they would have the division title clinched. Here's Anthony Roberts. Roberts playing very well. They've been pleased with him. Darnell Hillman came in after the trade and coming here to Denver, had the starting position, but not being consistent, they started bringing Roberts in. 2-2 our score, 10:28 to go, first period. There's Calvin Murphy. Hey, they let him shoot that. He'll hit all afternoon long. That's right. They're going to have to go out and play Calvin and at least force him to go to his left as much as possible. Make him put the ball down. He can shoot too well to give him an open shot like that. He's had 50 points in the 2 previous meetings between these 2. Here's Issel. Leonard with a fine block that time on Issel. Issel didn't like it. That's right. He sure did. Some nice weak side help also. The Rockets keying there. Lucas off to Alonzo Bradley, the number 2 draft pick from Indiana. They got him for Ron B. Hagan. Here comes Bobby Wilkerson. Wilkerson, very underrated, an excellent passer. Thompson. And he's hammered as he goes inside. Reed picking up the foul. Now we'll get an opportunity to look at the previous block. Issel turning, going baseline. He's quick for a big guy, but look at the help from Bradley. And Kunert positioning very nicely, went up to block the shot. Thompson will have a pair of free throws coming. That foul on Robert Reed, the fine rookie from St. Mary's in San Antonio, Texas. Houston uses Robert Reed on David Thompson, and they put
the little guy, John Lucas, up front on a forward, guarding, well, they're mixing it up somewhat. They're having difficulty trying to keep him being posted, but they put him up front on Roberts as much as possible.
Reed has been a pleasant surprise for this basketball team. Here's Lucas out of Maryland to Calvin Murphy, and Murphy, nice pass to Kevin Cunard.
Basic pick and roll. Calvin can also pass the ball.
Kevin Cunard at 7 foot out of the University of Iowa. Former #1 draft pick of Chicago. That's charging on Wilkerson.
That was a good call. The official right on it. Wilkerson trying to make the move right side, but Calvin Murphy too quick. Here's the previous basket. Pick. They're keying on Murphy. He makes the play and dunk.
You know, this guard combination of Lucas and Murphy, they can pass the ball. Coming into this game, Lucas is second in the NBA in assists. Lonzo Bradley with this on him, and Bradley wants the shot. Thompson, Cunard comes away with it. That might be some of that intensity that Larry Brown's been complaining about, not getting on the board.
The Nuggets in the past, they've always blocked off very nicely. You cannot allow offensive rebounds. It's too easy.
Houston with a 4-point lead, 8-4. Bobby Jones leading the NBA in field goal percentage. Out it comes to Reed. And Murphy will bring it across. We're going to a 20-second injury timeout coming up. Dick Vandervoort is coming out. He's going to look at Kevin Cunard. Looks like a wrist or a hand.
Well, with all the injuries the Rockets have had, I'm sure they get paranoid when anyone calls the 20. Here's the previous rebound. Cunard coming inside, getting an offensive rebound. The ball came off. Actually, the Nuggets should have had it. Putting it back in, and that's just too easy.
Looks like they're putting some of that freeze stuff on him, trying to take the pain away. This reminder now, immediately following the conclusion of this game, we'll have live coverage from Long Beach, California, the U.S. Grand Prix. Mario Andretti is back. Nicky Lotta. That should be something. Live coverage immediately following this game. We've got a timeout now here at the McNichols Sports Arena with 8:52 to go in our first period. The Houston Rockets are on top by 4.
We're the Van Arsdales, Tom and Dick. We're identical twins, and we drink identical beers. Light beer from Miller. We love it. The best thing about light beer is it's less filling. Great taste. Less filling. It's got a third less calories than the regular beer. Great taste, Tom. Less filling. And I'm not Tom. You are. I'm Dick. You think you are, but you never were.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
We're good and tough. We're the Kellys.
The Kellys have a way to save gasoline from the ground up. A steel-belted radial called the Kelly Gas Pincher. When we tested a set of gas pinchers against our non-radials, the gas pincher pinched from 14.5 up to 31.7 more miles out of a tank of gas. That's hundreds of more miles a year with the gas pinchers.
We're the Kellys. Rolling, rolling, rolling.
I'm going to keep on doing that till I get it right. Yeah, I work hard and I play hard, and I use STP gas treatment. You just pump it in your tank and it goes to work cleaning your carburetor. I take good care of my wheels on account of I'm cheap. I bet you are, too. Try it. Whoops. Try it.
Okay, Kevin Cunard's going to be able to continue in the game. He had his crazy bone. His hand went numb, but he's in. And right now, Houston with a 4-point lead, John.
Might be a good time to talk about strategies. Houston, of course, wants to slow the ball down. They don't want Denver to get out and start running. They don't want to run with them. They want to control the game as much as possible. Defensively, they'll push to the sides and try to force Denver into the jump shot outside.
Here's Thompson on Lucas. Calvin Murphy. Murphy out with 4 points. He can't get that one. And Issel. Dan Issel had 31 points Friday night against Seattle. Up it comes to David Thompson. You know, they list him at 6'4.5", John, but they tell me he's really 6'3".
It's amazing. He is only 6'3", but he's got an arm reach that makes him about 7'4".
Boy, what a player he has been. Here's John Lucas driving in, and he took it all away, and Houston fired up.
That's something the Nuggets have been very concerned with, the penetration of Lucas. They say they've taken it away from him in the past, but today he's been getting inside already.
You know, Denver dropped behind 16 points Friday night against Seattle, tried to make their move and couldn't. And right now they're behind 10-4 at 8:06 first period.
Well, the Nuggets don't seem to be playing their game. They normally move the ball a lot quicker and try to get out and run more. And right now they're playing very hesitant.
Reed brings it out to Murphy. Calvin Murphy. Look at that little guy. Cunard inside, and good hustle by Kevin Cunard.
Cunard once again getting an offensive rebound. Here you see John Lucas going right down the lane, laying the ball in. You cannot allow this. You must take that away from him.
And surprisingly, Houston up now 12-4 with 7.5 minutes to go in the first period. We'll be switching throughout the course of this day, checking games. The Knicks, Washington, Philadelphia, San Antonio, Milwaukee, and Detroit. Here comes Lucas, and right now Houston is making Denver look bad. Nice. Off the left hand from the last shot. Boy.
Difficult shot right there. David Thompson playing the good defense, getting back to take away the drive, but Lucas pulling up, putting in the jumper.
You can see why Larry Brown had that closed-door meeting, John. The intensity is not there for Denver.
Well, so far, Houston's doing a little bit more running than Denver, and they didn't really want to do that.
Here's David Thompson. He's going to try to take things over, but it won't do it. And Cunard's getting a bundle of rebounds here in the early going. Here's Lucas. John Lucas can't get it. Nobody back to rebound on that shot.
Well, I'm sure Tom Masaki not happy with that. He would rather have Lucas pull the ball up and run a set play.
That's Reed, the rookie from Nevada, Las Vegas, who was cut previously this year, then came back. And he is at 5'11", a very small man, but he plays big for the Denver Nuggets. 14-4, a 10-point lead for Houston. Alonzo Bradley. Here's Reed. Reed knew Tom Masaki very well when Tom was coaching in San Antonio. Here's Bradley, and Alonzo Bradley hits. And believe it or not, it's 16-4.
The Rockets mixing up their game very nicely, and I don't think they really plan to have this much freedom offensively. The Nugget defense really isn't that tough.
Here's Dan Issel. Boy, it just won't go down for him. And Bradley's got it. And the crowd here now is starting to get a little bit impatient. Lucas out to Calvin Murphy. He won't miss very many of those. Thompson brings it down. Bringing it up now is Robert Smith.
Well, the Nuggets need a lot more of that. That's the way they like to play. Get out and take the opportunity basket. And they, of course, need it from Bobby Jones. They need scoring from Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones going right down the middle on a nice play and laying the ball in.
That's the reason he shoots so good percentage-wise. He gets a lot of those layups. We got a foul on Smith, and now Bobby Wilkerson is checking back into the Denver lineup. Anthony Roberts the lead. That's only the first team foul is Tom Masaki. Last year, the coach of the year. What a bitter year this has been for his team.
He's done an excellent job, too, even to remain competitive, whatever, in any capacity with the injuries they've had. Same way in Portland, they've had a tremendous amount of injuries.
Houston has not been able to put that Pat lineup in for a long, long time. I think 17 games they've had their starting lineup in. As they've had everybody hurt, it seemed like a one-time or another. That was Thompson with a block. Smith. And David Thompson. David Thompson now with 4 points, and now he's starting to bring the Nuggets back.
The Nuggets starting to get their offense going a little bit, and as I mentioned, they have to run. They have to get moving for them to be effective. And they have to do things like that. Bobby Jones trying to come overplay, play the passing lane, and make a steal.
This is Darnell Hillman. Now, here's an interesting story, John. When they got Hillman, they thought he'd be a starter, but he's been better coming off the bench.
Well, he played well for them in about the first 5 games, and Darnell having some difficulty in sustaining any type of consistency.
16-8 our score, 5 minutes, first period remaining. Steal attempt by David Thompson. It'll be Houston basketball. The Houston Rockets had their worst march since their first year in existence. They won only 1 game. They were 1-13. They've lost 14 of the last 16, but last night defeated Philadelphia. You don't know what to expect.
Going into April 1st, Jerry, they had something like 9 players out for 197 games. That's amazing.
That foul, by the way, on Bradley. The basket did not count. It's 16-8. The Rockets on top. Houston trying to be the spoiler, like they were last night against Philadelphia. They didn't get in here till about 2:30 this morning.
They had to charter a plane to do that, yes.
But they look like they've come to play here as they started out hustling very well. Here's Thompson. No, we got a loose ball foul.
Dan Hitz a little upset with that, trying to get inside for that offensive rebound and got caught for the push-off.
Now we have a change coming into the lineup. Ed Ratliff, number 42, checks in for Houston. Tom Masaki told us he's starting to put it together.
Starting to play. He can play forward. He can play guard. He said he's really having some difficulty knowing what he can do best, but he plays the overall game pretty well.
Murphy into Big Cunard. He can hook with either hand. And we've got a foul. Loose ball foul. He's going to go against Alonzo Bradley. He comes up in his face. That hurts.
Denver only 3 of 14 from the field. Here's the ball going into Cunard, showing you, hey, I do have a left hand. Not going all the way down, though.
John, I think it's interesting the respect that they have for Calvin Murphy. They're playing this guy Smith for the very reason to stay on Calvin.
Well, many clubs try to push Calvin to the left and give as much double team help as they possibly can, but he still gets that shot off.
There's Darnell Hillman, doing it again with a good defensive board, and he has been in position the entire first period. Lucas penetrating well, and he is hurting them in there.
Well, he's tough. He gets so deep. He comes up the middle of the court. In their last meeting, he had 18 assists, which tied his career high.
So John Lucas now makes it 18-8. They're back up on 10. Bo Ellis now will be checking in to the Denver lineup. We've got a timeout. 3:50 to go in this first period. The Houston Rockets trying to win their second game in a row, leading by 10.
Where you going, America?
To Malibu.
Malibu! Malibu!
Malibu.
Looks like a large slice of America is going to Malibu. Chevy's new size, quick size, mid.
All right, we come back in the action. A shot missed by Denver, and look at the scramble for the ball. Kevin Kunert picks up the foul, slaps his hand down, and Dwight Jones will now check in for Houston, as now Houston is in the penalty already.
You see the good defensive effort here by Houston. They're really swarming the ball very nicely, and Darnell Hillman going on the court along with Kevin Kunert, two pretty big guys down there.
Kunert's going to have to come out, John. That's his third personal foul. We said the penalty now in effect. And at the line, Darnell Hillman. Dr. Dunk. Boy, they got him. Acquired him from the New York Nets for a 79 draft pick and some cash. What a steal. Of course, he won that CBS Slam Dunk last year.
Well, he can certainly get up around the basket and do a lot of things. I think he's a very fine basketball player, and I thought this was a fine trade or acquisition for Denver, but it just hasn't worked out. He hasn't found the wings yet, and they're quite concerned with that.
18-9, Lucas picked up by Wilkerson. A real mismatch outside, 6'7" against 6'3". That's where Wilkerson's so tough at that size to play a guard. Here's Murphy with Smith on him. He got the screen from Jones. Rebound, Wilkerson. Bobby Wilkerson. Bo Ellis trying to follow. Broken up nicely that time by Alonzo Bradley. Here's Lucas. Houston continues to hustle. Bobby Smith comes up with a deflection. Boy, it's a little fast and furious now. Here's Wilkerson again. And right now, both teams a little out of control.
Well, they certainly are. Houston not wanting to run like that, but you get those two little quick guards, Lucas and Murphy, they want to bring the ball out. Lucas trying to penetrate inside. Smith reaching in with the good hands and deflecting the ball and making the turnover.
So Larry Brown, who's very concerned about his basketball team, has called a timeout. The Houston Rockets with an 18-9 lead, 2:57 first period.
Where you going, America?
To Malibu.
Malibu! Malibu!
Malibu.
Looks like a large slice of America is going to Malibu. Chevy's new size, quick size, mid-size car that's so right in so many ways for so many people right now. You'd think it had been designed by Mr. John Q. Public himself. It's you, America. A fresh new slice of apple pie called Chevy Malibu.
A fresh new slice of apple pie from Chevrolet to you.
You're going to eat it up.
Leslie Caron for Color Track by RCA.
In Gigi, my brooch was blue, the leaves were green, and my gown was lavender lace. If these colors don't look right to you, you should know about Color Track from RCA. Getting the color right is what Color Track is all about. It actually adjusts the colors and locks them on track.
Before you see the Color Track system grabs it, aligns it, defines it, sharpens it, tones it, and locks the color on track.
RCA is making television better and better.
The Hilton Rainbow Service welcome. Look for it on your next business trip. In the nation's capital, it's minutes from Pennsylvania Avenue at the Washington Hilton. In Los Angeles, you'll find Rainbow Service near the Civic Center at the Los Angeles Hilton. While in San Francisco, it's just a cable car ride from almost anywhere. Hilton Rainbow Service. You'll find it at the heart of every Hilton, in the heart of most every city.
Let the Hilton rainbow brighten your day.
Gary Bender along with John McLaughlin. Right now, the Denver Nuggets, who have a chance to clinch a playoff berth, are not playing very good basketball. They trail the Houston Rockets 18-9. just inside 3 minutes to go in this first period.
Well, they're attempting to tighten up the defense, try to play the passing lanes, and when your offense is really a little sluggish, the best thing to do is tighten up the defense and make the other team turn the ball over.
All right, Ralph Simpson, number 10 with the ball, has just checked in. He's starting to play much better. Bo Ellis playing with that bad knee. And he's been fouled. Foul going against Dwight Jones. Boy, I tell you, in that first part of the game, Denver's only hit 3 of 17 from the field.
You see the setup here. They're trying to post up for Ellis inside. He's very good around the basket area, drawing the foul there.
Penalty in again. Bo Ellis, number 1 draft pick of Washington. They picked him up, and he's had trouble with that right knee.
He's had some problems. He says it feels a lot better over the last few weeks, and he's starting to feel quite a bit more confident.
As Denver goes down the stretch, they'd like to have him at 100%. And they now have another free throw coming.
You know, it's interesting, coming into today's game, Houston really not a good shooting team in losing Tomjanovich, Malone, and Newland, which really hurts, but right now they seem to be shooting the ball pretty fair.
18-10 our score. John Lucas, off it comes to Ed Ratliff, the number 1 draft pick in 73. Here's Bradley, out to Lucas. Ratliff at 6'6", going against Simpson, tough shot. Bobby Wilkerson can't save it, and he goes into the crowd. I believe he's going to be all right. I'm sure Larry Brown a little concerned. How about that guy in the front row? He must have felt that one.
Took some people with him in that situation. That really was not a good shot by Ratliff. And I know Tom Masalki would like to have a better shot than that. He's demanding his club get a lot of off-ball movement, and of course that's very smart.
Lucas now the real quarterback of this team. Murphy's having a tough time getting away from Robert Smith. They can't get him open. Ratliff trying to make things happen off to Bradley. Rainbow jumper.
Nice penetration by Ratliff, and that's the value of penetration. Not only can you set your teammates up, but in many situations it'll open something up for you.
4 points for Bradley. It's back to a 10-point lead now for Houston. Simpson off to Wilkerson. Wilkerson, nice play. Boy, that's a fine play.
That's a tough shot. He has tremendous abilities. He's a very quick player. He has tremendous range. And he's having a little difficult time shooting outside, although lately he's been shooting a lot better than he has earlier in the season.
Well, he's averaging over 11 points a game. Last year in Seattle, he just scored a little over 6, so he's got a lot more playing time, and he's taking advantage of it. Dwight Jones, and there goes the big guy up for the rebound in Hillman.
Well, that's what he does very well, and that's what he must do.
Look at that play by Smith. Ratliff off to Lucas. Houston doesn't run very often, but they're starting now. Off to Calvin Murphy. Fine fake. Wait a minute. Going over the top of it was Hillman. He just disappeared. You couldn't even find Murphy after that play.
Here you get an opportunity to see Bobby Wilkerson going baseline. Now watch him reach out all the way on the other side of the basket. The big guy coming in, Jones, to try to intimidate, but no, sir. Wilkerson puts it in.
All right, that's Robert Reed, the rookie. Their number 2 draft pick in the second round. They did not have a number 1 pick this year.
They're very pleased with Robert Reed. He's a very fine player. He can go inside. He can go outside. Has a pretty complete game.
Calvin Murphy now with 5 points. This guy is second in the NBA in free throw percentage. Only Rick Barry is better.
Every year, those two. No one else.
22-12. Houston continues to keep that advantage. 1:17 to go before the end of our first period. At halftime, we'll have Dan Issel and Ron Boone and Hort. Bo Ellis in. Bo Ellis is the guy that Al McGuire was so pleased with his play that year they won the NCAA championship. Steal attempt by Ellis. It'll be Houston's basketball.
The Nuggets normally do that very nicely, Gary. They try to come up and intimidate and push the forwards out as far from the basket as possible.
Calvin Murphy, look, you talk about a mismatch. 6'9" against 5'9". There's Lucas. Nice pass to Jones. He's fouled. No, wait a minute. He traveled to the ball, I believe. Nope, they're going to call a foul on Bo Ellis.
Lucas indicating to Jones to put the ball up. Now, Lucas made a nice pass there, but Jones knew when to go. Once Lucas comes off, if you go to the basket, he's going to find you.
Both teams now in the penalty. And at the line, Dwight Jones. Young man, 5th-year player from the University of Houston. Number 1 draft pick for Atlanta in 73. Acquired in 76. He played on that Olympic team, 1972. His first point. He started quite a bit this year due to a lot of injuries.
Plays forward and center. Of course, right now he has to play a lot of center. Cooner out on fouls with 3 right now. That could, of course, hurt Houston quite a bit.
24-14, a 10-point lead for Houston. Bo Ellis with Jones on him. Here's Simpson. And Simpson trying to go inside. A foul. There is your game clock. 37 seconds. Foul And at the line goes Simpson. Simpson, by the way, John, is shooting only 27% from the field.
Well, the Nuggets feel that he's a real key for this club also. They acquired him because they felt they needed outside shooting. They gave up Jimmy Price, a fellow who gave them quite a bit as far as character on this club, but they felt they needed that outside shooting, and Simpson, since he's joined this club, just has not come through with it.
He came in overweight. He's lost some of that weight, but they say he had lost so much confidence. It's being on the bench so much for Detroit. But now he makes it a 24-16 lead. Houston with the advantage. Lucas with Simpson on him. John Lucas. Rebound. David Thompson. Wilkerson having a tough time controlling it. They'll reset it.
I'm surprised that pass even got up to Wilkerson.
There's Thompson. Reed on him. Tough assignment. Nice pass. Blocked by Jones. Ellis. Ellis makes it 24-18 as the first period has come to a close here at the McNichols Sports Arena in Denver.
A massage and a hot shower. Together they work wonders on the aches and pains of life. And now there's the shower massage by Waterpick, a way to get a massage every time you shower. Thousands of tiny bursts of water adjust for a gentle, relaxing massage, a brisk, invigorating massage, or a regular shower.
Now, get $2 back when you buy the shower massage by Waterpick.
See what's new today.
Last year, Chevrolet introduced a new kind of six-passenger car. And like hot dogs and apple pie, America is eating it up. Now in its second year, the new Chevrolet Caprice continues to give you
more headroom, more rear seat leg room, more trunk room, more manageability in city traffic,
more mileage. The beautiful new Chevrolet Caprice. Now that's more like it.
This was one of the highlights of my career, being named most valuable player while the Celtics won the World Championship last year. But another real thrill for me was visiting the Basketball Hall of Fame. From the Peach Basket to our great game today, our Hall of Fame traces basketball's greatest stories and glories. Why not join the thousands who are planning a visit to Basketball's Hall of Fame, located on Springfield College campus in Springfield, Massachusetts?
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Basketball Association. Well, Houston has never defeated this Denver club, but they lead after one period. Let's check on the Knicks in Washington. In Washington, Don Criqui and Gus Johnson.
We welcome our fans who have joined us from the Denver-Houston game. This is Don Criqui with Gus Johnson, Landover, Maryland. The Washington Bullets in white have come back from 10 points behind and now are up by one opening the second period. That's how it stands with Houston and Denver out at McNichols Arena in Denver. The Knicks in the blue uniforms. This is Ray Williams with the ball, getting it over to Clemens, and now the rebound is taken down by Dandridge off the defensive board, and the Bullets, who got a running game going off New York mistakes, were down by 10 in the first period and rallied back to take the lead.
Turnovers have played a big factor because of the comeback in this basketball game right now. The Bullets are still taking bad shots, but some of them are falling.
There's one that did. Greg Ballard, the rookie, turns around and fires up what looked to be a hope, and he got it down to make it 32-29. Both teams have turned the ball over. Bullets have 7 turnovers. Their problems were early. Knicks have 6. Their problems were late in the first period, and that's when they lost the lead. Here comes C.J. Johnson, the former Golden State Warrior, pulling up off the run. Greavy tips it out, gets his own loose ball, and Kevin Greavy at 6'5" takes it to the basket. But there is a charge called negating the basket. And so, with 10:51 to play in the first half, it is the Bullets 32, the Knicks 29.
Welcome back to Denver, Gary Bender and John McLaughlin. While you're away, Bobby Jones picked up a personal foul. It's still a 6-point lead for the Houston Rockets as we start the second period. Zayd Abdul-Aziz is now coming to the game for the Houston Rockets. Shot missed by Dwight Jones. Breakaway to Wilkerson. And that's been a story of them in this first part of the game, John. They've been missing some easy shots.
Well, Bobby Wilkerson only shooting 23% from versus the Rockets on the entire year, and that layup missed didn't help him at all.
Steal attempt by Bobby Jones, who picked up his first foul a while ago. That's partially blocked. Abdul Aziz, who you played with in Milwaukee before he went out to the West Coast. He was with Boston earlier this year.
That's right. He has the ability to play a little forward and quite a bit of center.
Look at that score. Sixers leading San Antonio by 1. What a shootout that's going to be before it's over. Both of those teams have won their division title. Inside a foul, and that's on Aziz, and he's picked up 2 quick ones.
Well, obviously his timing really isn't that sharp right now. He hasn't played that much this season, and he doesn't really know exactly what they want to do in Houston defensively or offensively. You see Darnell Hillman going baseline, getting inside, applying the pressure to the defensive player and drawing the foul.
You know, I'm amazed by last night. Calvin Murphy led this team, the Houston Rockets, to a win over Philadelphia. He had 35 points. It shows you what you'd never know what's going to happen in the NBA, you know?
Here's a big score in Milwaukee. The Bucks must win to stay in front of the Golden State Warriors, who's hanging back by 1 game, and Milwaukee only 1 game behind L.A. It's very interesting.
And Golden State has a more favorable schedule from here on. A 4-point lead now for Houston, who led by as many as 10. Here's Ratliff, who's now playing a guard. Broke it up of Denver. Denver now getting a little more aggressive on defense.
Well, they apparently knew that they had to pick it up a little bit. They started out in the first few moments of the game, and they were just very lackadaisical defensively, laying back too much. Now they're trying to come out and apply the pressure.
Calvin Murphy having a tough time shaking loose. He got a couple of baskets early, and since then he's been shut down. Jones. Look it up. Here comes Thompson. Simpson. Nice left-handed hook.
Just like Simpson that time, passed up an easier shot to take the much more difficult shot, little left-handed hook inside.
4 points in the game now for Simpson, and all of a sudden, Houston's lead has been cut to 2. John Lucas getting ready to come back into the Houston lineup. Here's Robert Reed into Abdul Aziz. Broken up, Ratliff, and he walked with the ball. And Ratliff traveled, and now Larry Brown saying, hey, let's settle this thing down a little bit, as Alonzo Bradley and John Lucas check into the Houston lineup, replacing Dwight Jones and also Ed Ratliff.
Well, the Rockets are not really doing what they would like offensively. I don't think they're going to Murphy quite enough. The big guy's getting the ball outside, turning it over, not looking inside for the pin downs for the little guy.
Here's Darnell Hillman. Not real sure what he wanted to do with that ball. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Simpson. Rebound. Wilkerson. Boy, nothing's coming easy for Denver. And Bradley has picked up a foul.
Well, the important thing for Denver, they're staying on the offensive board. If you get enough opportunities at the basket, you should eventually put it in or at least draw the foul. Now here you'll see the ball go up by Simpson, but you'll see the rebound. Wilkerson shoots the ball a little too quickly, and that's why he misses as many times as he does. He doesn't take his time when he puts it back up.
That was the 3rd foul against the Houston Rockets in the 2nd period. 24-22, Houston by 2.
New around here? Sure got a nice motorcycle.
Oh, it's a new Honda Hawk Honda-Matic.
Honda-Matic?
No clutch.
No clutch. Well, beautiful wheels.
They're standard.
How does a little lady handle it?
Oh, new weight distribution. It feels light.
Someday I'd love to.
Yeah?
Ride it.
Well, then go see your Honda dealer.
When you're on a Honda, you're really going strong.
Spring. It only comes once a year. If you want a nice, thick lawn, now's the time to do something about it. Give your lawn some Scotts Turf Builder right now. Turf Builder helps grass send off new branches, either tillers or rhizomes. This forms new grass plants that'll thicken up your lawn and fill in those thin spots. But don't wait. Before you know it, spring will be gone.
Energy for a stronger America.
Today, ships like this are opening vast areas of the ocean for oil exploration. This one's under contract to Exxon, and she's an engineering marvel. Her electronic positioning systems and other special drilling equipment allow us to reach down into waters as deep as 4,000 feet to search for oil. This ship provides Exxon with valuable deep water experience that will help us find more energy for a strong America.
One of the real classics in television coverage, the Masters, live coverage from the Augusta National Golf Club. Next Saturday and Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, the 23rd year of exclusive live coverage by CBS Boy, Tom Watson and Jack Nichols will be back. They'll be ready to battle down the stretch again. We have a 2-point game here. Houston on top by 2. They led by as many as 12 in the first period, and that's going to be Houston's basketball. Simpson can't handle it. Check score there. Indiana over Boston. Hey, I correct myself. I thought that was an 8. It's a 0. So Boston is leading by 1. 31-30. Here's Reed, picked up by Bobby Jones. Denver climbing back into this game after a slow start. Murphy not getting it to go. Saeed Abdul-Aziz brings it outside. Now Lucas will quarterback the team. Bradley playing with 3 personal fouls. Kevin Cunard has 3 fouls for the Houston Rockets. Bradley inside, and he's fouled as he ducked in there. Lonzo Bradley, not a bad-looking basketball player.
He's a good player. He's a pretty good one-on-one player. And right now, the Rockets' offense, they're trying to go to some pick-and-roll situations, go to a pin-downs for Murphy. When it breaks down, they're going to a lot of one-on-one situations at the top of the circle, and that's how Bradley got to the free-throw line.
That foul was on Thompson, his first. There's Dan Issel, who checks back into the lineup. You mentioned to me about Issel. He just takes a lot of room out there when he goes out there to play.
He really does. He's a very aggressive offensive player in particular, and defensively also. But against this club, he should really score a lot of points. He should get inside and muscle his way in. He can go outside and in. As you see the Nets Atlanta score.
Boy, is Hubie Brown doing a job in Atlanta, huh?
That Atlanta team, it's like a buzzsaw when you run into them sometimes.
They're trying to get into those playoffs. Cleveland made it. And now Atlanta trying to get that 6th and final spot in the Eastern Conference.
Well, they're in pretty good position right now.
26-22. Up by 4, Houston. That'll be off of Houston. And Denver will bring it in.
It appears Denver trying to do a lot of posting up today, and they don't do that much. They seem just a little hesitant on their offense.
Here's Thompson. David Thompson. Who said he could become the leading scorer in the NBA before the day is over. He now has 6 points.
He's also surpassed his assist mark this year, getting the ball up quite a bit also, as well as shooting.
He only needs 15 points to go over 2,000 points for this season. Bradley can't get it to go. Look at that hustle by Reed, would you? Abdul-Aziz.
Well, that's a 8-foot shot that went 12.
Kind of embarrassing. There's Issel.
Now, that's something the Nuggets can do as good as any team of professional basketball. Not only run the break, but run it with Dan Issel. Dan Issel, for a big guy, gets in the break very nicely, and there he just kind of picked his way through and laid the ball in.
So we have a tie game with 8:22 to go in this first half of play. Murphy trying to shake loose. Just can't do it. Here comes Thompson, 2-on-1. He's fouled by Lucas, and Lucas is hurt. John Lucas looks like his leg there.
Calvin Murphy,
all right.
A little upset with that particular call right there. Also, they came off of a double screen. The steal came by the Nuggets, and here they come. They're trying to get their running game going, and David Thompson, he does have some jumping ability. That time going out as well as up.
Dwight Jones will come in for Abdul-Aziz, who missed that shot a moment ago. And now with a chance to take the lead, the Nuggets, David Thompson. So they come back in this game after trailing by 12 points in the first period of play. 7 points for David Thompson, give him 8. 28-26. Again, Denver can clinch a playoff spot should they win this game today. Bradley to Robert Reed. Boy, that's a tough shot. Jones brings it down. Wilkerson to Thompson. They're running it now. Bobby Wilkerson, they let him have the shot. A little pushing and shoving in there, and I think it's against Dan Issel. That's right. Issel picking up the foul.
Taking up that room that you talked about earlier. Bobby Jones doing a nice job of coming in and trying to go to the offensive board. You'll see him come right down the lane. Bobby Wilkerson open, and he misses very badly right here. Bobby Jones coming in and trying to get the hand on it, but the foul was called on Issel.
28-26. Houston trying to knot it up now. At halftime, Jimmy the Greek will talk about baseball. Will it come to Denver or not? That's goaltending against Thompson.
The little guy getting in there in the land of the Giants. Putting the ball up, getting the goaltend. They're trying to key on him quite a bit. Thompson coming from the top down to give help, but he was a little late.
He's really had to work, hasn't he, John, for everything he's gotten. He's got 8 points thus far.
The Denver doing a good job on Calvin so far in the game.
Thompson taking it inside. Bobby Jones. Thompson again. What effort. It's going to count, and he's been fouled.
Well, I think the Nuggets in general are very good at an interior passing team. I realize they've had problems the last few weeks. They're turning the ball over. They're not playing that well. But that was a typical play right there of Jones getting the rebound and making a nice interior pass to David Thompson, and then Thompson putting in a difficult shot.
The penalty now in. That's the second foul on Reed as Robert Smith now conferring with Larry Brown. David Thompson, he's starting to put it together for this team. He has 11 points, 31-28. Thus far in this second period, Houston scored only 4 points. Alvin Murphy, he's got 2 of them. Out to Lucas. Boy, they're pressuring him outside now. No open shots. That's a foul on John Lucas.
Well, that was nice defensive play by Bobby Wilkerson. It's not easy to stay in front of John Lucas. And going into the game today, Larry Brown felt that they've done a good job of preventing his penetration.
That's Ed Ratliff, number 42, checking in. And we've got a delay in the action here with 7:03 to go before halftime. At halftime, Creek's Grapevine, some horse, but more of the first half in just a moment.
Yeah, Buck.
I just went to another bar and asked for light beer for Miller.
Yeah?
They said, sorry, Buck, we don't have it.
They didn't have it?
No. I don't want some beer that's going to fill me up.
No.
I want light. Tastes great.
Right.
Has a third less calories than a regular beer.
Yeah.
And, man, it's less filling. You think I'm going to the other bar again? No way. From now on, the buck stops here.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
The new Monza by Chevrolet. For a car so sporty and so well equipped, it's priced surprisingly low.
This is Jim Simpson for Valvoline Motor Oil, trackside for the start of Houston's rush hour traffic, where everyday drivers by the thousands prove that Valvoline is one motor oil that's not just for winning races. For a closer look, here is A.J. Foy.
Thanks, Jim. The only thing racing down here is the temperatures in these cars' engines. That's why they need a tough motor oil like Valvoline.
There you have it, from an expert. What are you waiting for? Valvoline Motor Oil is not just for winning races.
Premiering Sunday, Dallas, where money buys power and passion breeds conflict. Patrick Duffy, Victoria Principal, and Larry Hagman star in Dallas.
We come back to McNichol Sports Arena, and a foul is spotted inside. The Houston Rockets now having that lead diminished and taken away from them. They led by 12, now they trail by 3. And picking up the foul is Ed Ratliff. That is his first personal foul. 6:45 to go, second period.
Houston would certainly like to win this game, Gary. They've never beaten the Nuggets, and it's the only club they haven't beaten. And the last time they were in here, they only went, the Rockets only went to the free throw line 4 times, while the Nuggets went 34 times. That's amazing. And yet only lost 105 to 100.
Both games, 2 previous games this year were very close. But you got to remember one thing. Houston had Moses Malone in the lineup at that time.
And that is a big difference. Since Moses Malone has gone out of the lineup, Houston's average rebound as a team has gone something like from 49 to 44. So that shows you his value in only one department.
Biggest lead of the game now for Denver, 33-28. Murphy outside. He just can't get it to go for him. Good hustle by him, and he gets his favorite shot through.
You know, I can't imagine trying to shoot from where he has to shoot from. You can't. I don't see how he sees the basket half the time.
There's a foul. Issel trying to get the drop. Dwight Jones picking up the personal foul. Issel getting down the floor in a hurry.
Issel will do that. He'll go out to try to block a shot and take off and go on down the court. Many clubs will do this. Not too many centers will do it, but Issel's one of the better players at doing it. And Houston must be more aware at this point in the game of converting from offense to defense, because the Nuggets are aware of trying to get the break going and coming out.
Dan Issel coming into this game is 19th in the NBA in scoring, a 21.2 average. He had 31 points Friday. He has 3 points, and surprisingly low figure in the early going of this game. 4-point lead now for Denver.
Dan Issel's ranked 18th in the league in scoring with a 21.2 average.
So we have the penalty in. Hey, how many pairs of socks? 7 pairs anywhere?
Actually, when he takes his shoes and socks off, especially his socks, he wears about 8 or 10 pairs of socks. He loses 3 inches.
But doesn't he wear 7 pairs of socks?
Yes, he does.
Calvin Murphy. Well, if you're 5'9", you want maybe a little advantage there.
He has to get here 10 minutes early just to get his socks on.
Speaking of that, he comes out here and works out. He comes in his playing clothes.
That's right. Comes out early, spends a lot of time shooting, never gets tired.
Reed from the corner. Ratliff. Looks like he could have gone back up with that one. 35-30. Here's Dwight Jones. Jones against Issel. David Thompson. Thompson playing more guard now that they've started Anthony Roberts forward. Issel is fouled by Jones again.
Well, very nice pass by Bobby Wilkerson to set up Issel. Issel inside, pulls it up very nicely. Wilkerson sees it, flips it behind his back. Now, this is where Issel is so very tough. He's not overly quick, but boy, when he gets the ball in deep like that, he always gets something out of it.
That's Kevin Coonard, number 44. He comes in. Now, Coonard, Bradley, and Jones each have 3 fouls for the Houston Rockets. And that is Bo Ellis, number 31, coming in. Must remember, Houston's bench is already depleted by injuries, and they're in foul trouble here this afternoon. Issel with 5 points. A 6-point lead for the Denver Nuggets. Denver, by the way, lost 32 games last year, and that's where they are right now. They'd like to finish up with the same record as a year ago. Murphy. Calvin might be a little tired. He's had to work for everything.
Well, he certainly has. I think the Nuggets doing a nice job defensively on him. They're keying. They know that he likes to go down low and come off double and single screens. They're trying to have the guard stay, but if the guard cannot stay on him and gets caught on a screen, they will switch out and try to double him up.
Bo Ellis out to Smith, and that was intended for Ellis. Houston will get it. C.J. Kubik now coming in. Former Los Angeles Laker. There he is, out of the University of Michigan. And Reed will leave the lineup. 7-point lead now for Denver. Ratliff with Thompson on him. There's Kubik, a fine outside shooter. Murphy. And he's getting the shots, they're not going for him.
And then he goes after the ball and commits the foul. Now, that was a very simple play where Murphy goes down low. The forward comes down to set a single screen. Murphy comes off to shoot the shot normally. And many times, the majority of the time, the little guy can put that ball in. But going after it, you see him hit Issel, commit the backcourt foul, and that hurts.
That's Ralph Simpson, number 10, coming in. Anthony Roberts also checking in. David Thompson will get a breather.
Now, actually, the Nuggets haven't taken advantage of John Lucas, who has to give up a lot of height to whoever he guards out here, because Murphy going against Smith, who is the only small guy on the court right now for the Nuggets. Therefore, I would expect the Nuggets to be more aware of going at John Lucas and taking advantage of him down low in a post-up situation.
Our statistician, Rick Lambert, points out in this period, Denver has outscored Houston 21-6. So that's been the big story here in the second period. Foul coming up. That'll be Anthony Roberts picking it up. And going to the line will be Ed Ratliff. 5:01 to go here. 39-30. Let's check now on a very big game between Philadelphia and San Antonio in San Antonio.
Now, those of you who are watching Denver and Houston, this is an injury timeout for Philadelphia's Lloyd Free. Coach Billy Cunningham is talking to George McGinnis. We've got 4:16 to go in the first half. It's a good one. Tied at 51. Sellout crowd on hand in the hemisphere to watch the two teams in the Eastern Conference who are sporting the best record. But should they meet for the championship of the East, Philadelphia would possess the odd game home court advantage on the strength right now of 53-23. The 76ers have lost their last two games, a heartbreaker in overtime to Atlanta. Then they fell last night to Houston, so they could have come in here a bit tired. The final last night was 116-112. The Spurs, meanwhile, came home and were welcomed by 2,000 fans at the airport yesterday. They wrapped up the Central Division title, one of the Cinderella stories around the NBA. Washington and Cleveland appeared to have the Central Division in hand, but along came the Spurs. And here is Lloyd Free. He's all right at the line, shooting for the lead for Cunningham 76ers. They've got it by a point. Mike Gale, George Gervin. Gervin to wrap up an NBA scoring title. Keenan goes back to Fultz. Gerald Dawkins takes in. Here's Mike Gale. On the switch, Doc is there. Lob inside. Fultz with good control. Keenan was swooping underneath. Gale to the hole. Off comes Doc. And again, some careless passing, Keith.
Very careless. Darryl Dawkins does that all the time. That little underhand pass. It's very easy to lose a pass like that. He's got to make sure on that. They had a 3-on-1 fast break, an automatic 2 points.
Milwaukee leading Detroit 53-50. 5 minutes to go in the second quarter of that game. Now it goes back, and there's Dr. J. Julius Irving to take it out. 3:45 to go. First half in San Antone. 52-51. Billy Cunningham leads Doug Moe. Dawkins. 3:26, and it's 54-51. 76ers leading the Spurs. Almost stolen.
Welcome back to Denver along with John McLaughlin. This is Gary Bender. We have a timeout with 4 minutes to go in this first half. Denver has bumped it up to a 43-32 lead.
Okay, big, green T. If National's going to be the best car rental company, we have got to hustle. Schultz, the last reservation call.
9 seconds, sir.
Walsh, green light service means
Fast service, sir.
Willoughby. Before we rent this new Chevy, we check all 10 items on the maintenance checklist. And then we sign it. Sir. Okay, team, let's go. 10,000 people working for you. The big green team. We're National Car.
The major difference is Sylvania beats RCA.
Take a look at this.
Sylvania beats Zenith.
And we'd like you to...
Sylvania beats Sony and GE and Sears. That's right. Recently, over 1,000 people saw 6 unidentified 19-inch color pictures side by side. Then they picked the best overall picture, and the clear winner was the Sylvania Superset. So get the picture that beat them all. Sylvania Superset. Side by side, we beat them all.
Wherever you may roam, you'll find our name is known. You can trust Delco. Thanks, Delco. Delco Freedom Battery.
I trust Delco batteries, and my reputation rides on Delco shock absorbers, because you never know when you're going to need Delco's smooth control.
When the road is curved and rough, you need the shock that's tough. You can trust Delco.
Thanks, Delco.
Delco shocks and batteries. Delco shocks and batteries.
Thanks, Delco.
Hi there, young man. One of the fans here at the Nichols Arena. You know, John, a real startling statistic here in the second period, the shooting of Houston.
Not good at all. Only 15%, and it completely reversed from the earlier part of the game when the Nuggets did not shoot the ball that well, but the Nuggets now picked it up a little bit and shooting quite a bit better, but mainly because of the defense of the Nuggets. They're forcing Houston into tough shots, and therefore they're going to the other end and getting better ones. And there you see Calvin Murphy trying to increase that percentage a little bit.
He has not had a good first half. He's had to work for everything. He has 12 points. You saw that score a moment ago. The Knicks up by 3 on the Bullets. 3:42 to go. First half. Dan Issel against Cunard. And C.J. Kupek brings it down. This is Mike Dunleavy, a former Philadelphia 76er. He was picked up as a free agent on March 31st. Ed Ratliff, his shooting is off today. 43-34 Denver. Here comes Simpson. Simpson has picked up the offensive output. He has 8 points in this game, hitting one from outside and hustling inside for another.
His previous high for the Nuggets, only 12.
And Anthony Roberts, the young rookie from Oral Roberts, follows with the shot. See Big Dan Issel on that last play. That reminds us to remind you at halftime, he'll be on the horse against Ron Boone on our halftime.
Here you see a basic pick and roll. Issel overlaying, but Roberts right there to get the easy 2.
Foul on Bo Ellis. Also at halftime, we'll be checking in with Jimmy the Greek. A couple of subjects he's going to be involved in is baseball. Is he going to come to Denver or not? And also about that outstanding Texas running back Earl Campbell.
I know the Denver people are very excited about that. They would love to see a baseball team here. It's quite a sports town.
And immediately following our telecast here from Denver, we'll go live to Long Beach for the U.S. Grand Prix. This is Kupek. This guy was acquired on waivers from Los Angeles, the number 4 pick for L.A. in 75. He's had a lot of injury problems, but has been a fine outside shooter for a big guy. That's been a tight one all the way.
That's right, halftime, 63-63. Now, it's important that the Houston Rockets not allow the Nuggets to open up the lead anymore, and more importantly, that the Rockets close the lead a little bit going into halftime.
Robert Smith in the game, off to Bo Ellis. Kupek is on him. Here's Anthony Roberts, a surprising rookie. Dan Issel. Issel starting to get some points, and he's been fouled. If that's on Kunert, that's his fourth. Let's see.
That's a situation where I think that the Houston Rockets should be aware of keying on Issel just a little bit more and giving help on Kunert. Now, you see Kunert shade to the baseline a little. The Houston Rockets, Kupek coming over from weak side to try to give help, but he gets called for the foul because he was not there in time to establish position.
They're actually going to call that foul on Kunert, and that's his fourth. At Zaid Abdul-Aziz is checked back into the lineup. At the line, Dan Issel.
Obviously, what they're trying to do in that situation, Kunert is trying to shade to the baseline and get weak side help. That's why he got caught with the foul from behind, but the Houston Rockets really cannot afford that. With him in foul trouble, that does hurt.
They also have Bradley with 3 fouls in this game. Also, Jones has 3 fouls. So they're in some foul difficulty. Mike Dunleavy off to Radliff. Out to C.J. Kupek. Houston now trying to run their offense. Dunleavy. Here comes Anthony Roberts. Smith at 5'11". Boy, they ran the ball at Nevada, Las Vegas, so he's comfortable with that kind of situation.
He knows how to do that, right?
So Dunleavy will settle it down now. 2:18 to go before a half. Kupek, Abdul-Aziz can't get one to go, and I'll tell you, Smith really hit the floor. Simpson over Dunleavy, no whistle. Roberts. Simpson again. Who's got it? Simpson. What a play.
Simpson, he's got 3 offensive rebounds. He scored on 2 of them, and that one ended up coming back to him, and he got another basket.
You know, one thing about Simpson, he's trying to hustle his game back, isn't he?
Well, I think that's a great thing about basketball. When things are going tough, when your shot isn't going down or you're having some difficulty, you can always continue to hustle and put out, and maybe it'll come back to you.
Zaid Abdul-Aziz complaining about something as now Darnell Hillman comes back into the lineup. Dan Issel will check out. This Denver team has a tough road to hoe. They're going to be on the road for a lot of basketball after today. Calvin Murphy, that's the shot he just loves to shoot.
That's called an in-your-face shot for sure. He's so quick, you don't know if he's going to go by you or not, but still, if I were playing against him, I would rather have him drive than take that jump shot.
Bo Ellis, Kupek on him. Out it comes to Simpson. Denver keeping the ball alive. Little sloppy though. Up to Smith. Here comes Dunleavy. And he is fouled by Bo Ellis.
Well, I think he's lucky he got fouled because he got caught up in the air. Too many Nuggets around him. He had to throw the ball off, and he threw it to a Nugget rather than to the Rockets. He's trying to advance the ball. And again, Tom Masaki doesn't really want this, but you can see the pressure there, and he passed the ball over to Smith. That's the wrong fellow.
That foul, the third foul on Bo Ellis, he checks out. David Thompson comes in, Bob Wilkerson comes in, Simpson and Roberts check out. You know, Issel, who just checked out a while ago, had all 10 points in the second period, and 8 of them came on free throws, really getting inside.
Well, the Rockets have to be concerned with that getting inside. The Nuggets getting too many offensive rebounds, and they're scoring on those. You can't afford that. Once they put the ball up, if they do miss, you don't want them to get it back.
Look at the Sixers, would you? They were upset last night by the same Houston team, but they're leading this afternoon. Boy, what a running game that could be.
They must need 3 or 4 basketballs on that one.
49-49 point lead now for Denver, who trailed by 12 in the first period. Bobby Jones back in. He's fouled by Kupek. Now, wait a minute. It's going to be against Wilkerson, away from the ball, pushing off. That's his second personal foul. There's your time on the lower right-hand portion of your screen. Remaining in this first half. At halftime, Horse, Jimmy the Greek. Stay with us. Here's Ed Ratliff. Dunleavy. Dunleavy just couldn't find a place to play on that talent-laden Philadelphia team, and he's got 2.
Well, Dunleavy, in that situation, he had a couple of players inside, and he just said, hey, I'm taking this one. I'm going to go one-on-one. That was a tough shot for the little guy.
He has 4 points. There's the doctor of dunk. Look at him hide that ball away from Abdul-Aziz.
I don't know if that was a hide or just a lose. I lost it.
We'll give him credit.
I found it, and I missed it.
Now you see the time remaining. They're going to milk it now for the last shot of this first half of play.
I wonder who will take it. Guess who?
Calvin Murphy. Smith trying to draw the foul. Can't get it to go. Murphy not shooting well percentage-wise. It's going to be Denver's basketball. Coming in now is going to be Ralph Simpson again. Wilkerson will check out.
You know, Murphy's situation, not shooting well percentage-wise, as you mentioned, there's a lot of pressure on him. When you know that you have to put the ball up a lot of times for your club to win. Many of those shots will not be good percentage shots, therefore it's hard to shoot a good percentage.
He's been shooting 49% from the field for the year. Here comes Anthony Roberts. There's your time. And Roberts gets it underway, and that's going to end our first half of play. 49-42. Denver leads the Houston Rockets at halftime. Stay tuned now for Horse as Ron Boone goes against Dan Issel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Don Cricky, and this year at halftime on CBS coverage of NBA basketball, we have some of the top players in the league matched up in the old schoolyard game of horse, where a player must duplicate his opponent's shots or be assessed a penalty letter. 5 misses means 5 letters. That spells horse, and he's out. Today, Big Dan Issel of the Denver Nuggets goes against Ron Boone of Kansas City. And for more on the rules, here's Manny Rudolph.
The basic rules of horse are as follows. The player in control must describe his shot beforehand. Now, 2 consecutive shots from the same area are not allowed unless someone moves at least 5 feet away. There are trick shots allowed. However, the same trick shot cannot be attempted more than once in the contest. The flip of the coin will determine who goes first. Now, there's going to be disputes out there, and if there are, my word will be the final judge.
Dan Issel won the toss, and he'll lead away.
Ready? Bank shot.
The man who set all the scoring records at the University of Kentucky as a collegian. And Ron Boone from Idaho State stays right with him.
Thanks.
And the good big man beat the good little man. Well, right now they're filling it up.
Ron Boone takes over.
Shooting advantage to Boone. Straight in, says Ron Boone. No problem with it.
Straight in, Dan.
Here.
Straight in from there, right. There's a miss. Dan Issel picks up the first letter H.
And Boone maintains the shooting advantage. Here's a guy
Call your shot, Ron. Straight
scored
in.
over 12,000 points in the ABA and has now done the big job at Kansas City.
Straight in.
Nothing fancy here, just more and more the game's hallmark shot, the jumper.
There's a miss. Second letter. For Issel.
Straight in's been Ron Boone's call.
Call your shot. in.
That's all you need. Straight in, says Ron Boone, and he's hitting everything.
Third miss. Third letter.
This competition is being staged at the Omni International Complex in Atlanta.
Call your shot, Ron. Straight in.
We thank the Atlanta Hawks for their cooperation as Ron Boone is putting on a shooting clinic for Dan Issel.
Does he miss?
Not yet.
Fourth letter.
Right now, Boone is 1 letter away from shutting out Big Dan Issel.
Call your shot. Straight in.
Name of his game is Straight In. And that does it.
That's it.
So, Ron Boone advances over high-scoring Dan Issel of the Denver Nuggets in this first-round competition. All right, here's our winner, Ron Boone. Ron, as we watch this competition go along, the people who are playing the percentage shots, getting the advantage, are winning, and that's what you did.
Well, I got a lot of confidence in that 15, 18-foot shot, and I'd rather take that than anything.
That's what you win with in the NBA.
Well, I enjoy shooting it, and you develop a concentration, and concentration brings some kind of consistency, so I go with what's best.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Ron Boone of the Kansas City Kings. And he sure was consistent. That was the concluder of the first round. The losers in the first round get $500. The winners advance, and here's some of them. JoJo White, Bingo Smith, Pete Maravich, Bob McAdoo. They'll all be coming up in the weeks to come. In fact, next week you'll see Randy Smith and George Gervin.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Basketball Association. The NBA on CBS is sponsored by all the new 1978 Chevrolets, now at your Chevy dealers everywhere. Consolidated Cigar Company, makers of Dutch Master cigars. There really are masters at Dutch Masters. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
Immediately following the conclusion of this game, we're going to Long Beach for the U.S. Grand Prix. Now, to give us an update, let's go to Long Beach now, and Ken Squire.
Here at Long Beach, California, that quiet dignity that prevails over any world championship event prior to the start has beset us here. The drivers, for the most part, they're in hiding, trying to get away from this armada of autograph and photograph seekers on pit road. The mechanics, for the final moments, gently massaging these $100,000 weapons, as they have to do to get that keen edge. And it is an edge that counts here at Long Beach when you consider that Brett Lunger of the United States failed to qualify by 3 1,000ths of a second. And the difference between Carlos Reutemann on the pole and Peroni in the Kentiro car starting 22nd is only a matter of 30 seconds. 4 o'clock Eastern Time, we'll be with you live here from Long Beach, California for the United States Grand Prix West. We know you're going to enjoy the race today. The Ferraris are in the front row. Mario Andretti starting 4th, and starting 3rd, the defending world champion from Austria, Niki Lauda.
Along with John McLaughlin, this is Gary Bender. We're ready to go now, second half of a very important game for the Denver Nuggets. Should they hang on here to the 7-point lead and win, they will clinch a playoff berth.
Very important for them, but Houston, they feel it's very important. They want to beat Denver for the first time, and one area the Houston Rockets must be concerned with would be the offensive rebounding by the Denver Nuggets. They had 12 offensive rebounds, and many of those they scored on.
Houston had a 12-point lead after the first period, and then they lost that lead and now trail by 7 at halftime. We start the second half. Bobby Wilkerson, David Thompson, Bobby Jones, Ralph Simpson starting. That's Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones now with 6 points in the game. Calvin Murphy, Lucas, Alonzo Bradley, Kevin Kunert, and Robert Reed. The 5 that opened the game start the second half for the Houston Rockets. Here's Reed. Into Kunert, playing with 4 personal fouls and that left-handed hook.
The big guy got the ball in deep. Houston executing their offense a little better that time, but still they must be aware and concerned about getting back on defense.
There's that patented play of Bobby Jones. Boy, he'll do that all afternoon long if you let him. 8 points for Jones.
It's the same thing about the Houston defense. They're not getting back and set up early enough. They're trying to key on the ball too much, not being aware of the people coming down the break or even getting out in the lead lanes on the break.
I think it's significant that Ralph Simpson started the second half. Maybe Bobby, or rather Larry Brown, feels he's found somebody that can play that fifth man that they've been looking for. That's been a problem for them, is finding that fifth starter.
You know, actually, Simpson played a good first half. He's been struggling somewhat, but still, I don't think he was sharp. A number of those points did come on some fine offensive rebounds, but a couple of them, I think he was lucky to be at the right place at the right time as you get a traveling violation. David Thompson.
David Thompson committing that turnover. 53-46. Houston trying to win their second in a row after a surprising win last night against Philadelphia in the Summit. Milwaukee, Detroit, look at that one, would you? Boy, that would really be devastating should Milwaukee lose that one.
Well, that will certainly hurt the Bucks. That will tie Golden State and Milwaukee if they do lose this particular game at Detroit.
Golden State, again, with the best schedule from here on out.
Nice play by Bobby Wilkerson there, flipping it back into Dan Issel. Issel's establishing position down low. The Nuggets getting him the ball, and therefore the Rockets must overplay that and prevent him from receiving it in that close.
12 points for Dan Issel, who started slowly, didn't even score in the first period. Kunert again with the hook. Wilkerson. Boy, Wilkerson can start that break and end it. At 6'7", he gives this Denver team great versatility. Issel again.
Wilkerson can also rebound. He had 6 rebounds in the first half, so he goes to the boards for a guard.
Number 30, Alonzo Bradley.
Here you'll see the previous Issel basket. You see Bobby Jones flip it over to Bobby Wilkerson. He flips it over his back into Dan Issel. When he gets the ball in that deep, he's very difficult to stop, as you can see there.
The Dutch Masters buyers are in France for the international auction of rare African Cameroon tobacco. There are two secrets they must keep to win some of the best leaf for Dutch Masters: the exact leaf they want and the price they'll pay.
It's a nice color.
When their bid is opened by the French auctioneers, they'll learn if they've won some of the best.
Acheteur Dutch Master.
Taste the taste the world competes for in a Dutch Masters Cameroon cigar. There really are masters at Dutch Masters.
From the top man right down to the bottom man. It just passes right down the line. Everybody pushes for quality.
Willie Rawls, utility man. This is who we are and what we do at General Motors.
My job is to replace any absentees. I'm here, there, all over the plant. Yeah, you're not tied down to one job all the time. You're around different jobs. Mill finishing, welding, soldering. But soldering, I think I enjoy soldering more than any other job I've done because there's a lot of skill in that. Yeah, fellas keep something going all the time. It's never dull around here. They get along very good. Yeah, union's good. Yeah, the people on the line, they have a lot of interest in the car. If I go out to buy a car, that's where I go, looking for a General Motors car. Because I'm right there in the plant and I see how they're built, see the quality that goes into them.
General Motors, people building transportation to serve people.
Premiering Wednesday, it's the amazing Spider-Man and the star of ISIS in a race to save the world. Don't miss the web-slinging Spider-Man. Wednesday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
The Denver Nuggets starting to get a little breathing room. They led by 7 at halftime. They trailed early in the ball game. I don't think Larry Brown's all that pleased with their play, but they can still get into the playoffs with a win today.
And neither club's shooting very well. Right now, at halftime that is, Houston only 34%, while the Denver Nuggets picking it up to 31.
Look at this. Denver, here in the second half, has taken 4 shots, and they've hit all 4 from the field. You can't do much better than that. Jones, a couple of layups.
They're continuing from that second quarter when they outscored Houston 31 to 18 to take that commanding lead.
Crowd of 15,500 plus. The leading team in the NBA, attendance-wise, the Denver Nuggets. And they love their team here. David Thompson. Simpson. Wilkerson. Off to Issel, and that's going to be off of Houston. Now, there's the case. What can Murphy do against Wilkerson on a baseline situation like that?
Well, Bobby Wilkerson, once again, making a very nice play. He's a fine passer. That's probably the strongest part of his game. Calvin Murphy pushing Wilkerson baseline, getting a little help from the weak side, but Wilkerson putting it back out to Issel, who draws the foul.
And going the line is Dan Issel. There's assistant coach Dell Harris along with Tom Nisaki. Tom really suffering this year. You got to give him credit, though. They've been hanging in there with all those injuries.
Hanging in, and I'm sure at halftime they made some adjustments, and not only offensively but defensively, talking about trying to come out and apply a little bit more pressure, taking away the passing lane. They do not want Denver to reverse the ball. Once they push them to the side, they do not want them to allow the ball back to the top, although they haven't been doing a good job of it.
16 points for Issel. Alonzo Bradley. Boy, he hit that one from a long ways out. Bradley with a nice touch, and now he has 8 points.
It's like he's been watching Calvin Murphy shoot a few times.
Here's Thompson moving inside. A passing game, and that is going to be off of Wilkerson. It'll be Houston's basketball. You know, Houston was a surprise team of the NBA last year. They won the Central Division. Boy, what a difference a year can make, huh?
It sure can. Well, you know, any team that wins a world championship has to go through the season with very few injuries, possibly none. Calvin Murphy doing it again baseline. He loves the baseline.
16 points for Calvin Murphy. Murphy has been talking to both Jim Capers and Hugh Evans throughout this game, saying, hey, give me a break, will you? They've been hanging to it. Yeah, that's right.
Well, they were 12 for 12 at half. That's perfect, but not enough time.
What a play by David Thompson. And look at Tom
Nisaki went right out on the court.
He's gotten the
Dell Harris upset. Robert Reed got hurt on that play. They felt that David Thompson went over 2 players, in particular Reed, and knocked him to the court. We'll get a chance to look at it. You'll see Jones pass the ball back out. Now the shot goes up by Simpson. Now watch David Thompson coming through the lane area. Look how high he is. My land. Robert Reed coming down. I wouldn't have made that call either.
Oh, that is what David Thompson's all about. 6'3", but he's got the arms that makes him about 6'7". And you know how he can jump.
You know, if you've got jumping ability like that, you can always get a good shot. That's why I never had a good shot.
You didn't get up quite that high, right?
No, not quite. I could jump over a dime.
Let's look at it again, John.
Now watch David Thompson coming from the far side of your screen. Now watch him come right through. No one blocks him off. Now watch how high he gets. His elbow is above the rim, and look how much higher he is than everyone else. Of course, he had a running start to do it.
And Calvin Murphy, while we were in that replay, hits from the side. He has 18 points, and Calvin now starting to find the range. 61-52.
Well, if he finds the range, Denver could be in trouble. He can put 50, 60 points up there.
Thompson inside. That'll be off of Houston. The Nuggets will set it again.
Nice drive by Thompson, but I think Houston allowing the Nuggets to get inside a little too easy by penetration right down the lane area.
Thompson brings it into Issel. Simpson. Simpson seen a lot of playing time. Bobby Jones. That basket will count, and he's been fouled. That foul is going to go on Kunert. That's 10 points now for Bobby Jones.
Now, that's a smart club that finds a mismatch. Calvin Murphy got caught on Jones. The Nuggets trying to set it up very nicely, as you see here, and they potentially get a three-point play out of it.
That was not a foul on Kunert. It was on Lucas. We stand corrected, and that's his fourth foul.
Well, that's a break for Houston. Kunert cannot afford another foul.
64-52, you see the score. Denver now a little over a period and a half away from clinching a playoff spot if they can hang on to this lead. Calvin Murphy, and he was fouled. He's got such a funny shot, doesn't he?
Well, he kind of flips the ball up. He does everything in jerky motions. And Calvin also has the complete act together. You'll notice here, he'll put the ball up. Now, the fans here thought that he traveled on that, but watch, he'll put the ball up, and he goes right to the floor to draw that three-point play, or a potential three, although the ball didn't go in, and get two the way he shoots free throws.
First team foul now on Denver. That's the third foul, however, on Bobby Wilkerson. Calvin Murphy now starting to mount the points. He has 20. 10-point lead.
He and Rick Barry, two great free throw shooters in contrasting styles. It's rather interesting.
He's only hitting 91% from the line. That's not too shabby. Thompson going to put one up. Looks like he could do that all day, doesn't he?
Well, he certainly has a strong outside game. He's good inside. David Thompson, one of those players that can do it all. Put his back to the basket, face the basket, everything.
That basket, by the way, put him over 2,000 points again for the season.
That's amazing.
That's the third straight year for DT, as they call him here in Denver. Simpson having a little trouble. Wilkerson.
A lot of speculation about him also, possibly going to New York. Another nice pass.
Issel. That's what Denver will do. They'll get those multiple shots.
But again, Houston really not playing sound basketball. Once the ball goes up, they're not blocking out, and they're not aware of the Denver Nuggets going to the offensive board. The Nuggets, on the other hand, concentrating on it quite a bit.
I don't want to belabor this point, but wouldn't Moses Malone like to be in there in that situation?
Well, he was a great offensive rebounder, the best in professional basketball.
It's now a 10-point lead again for Denver. Simpson off of Denver, or check it. That'll be Houston. The Nuggets with the basketball. And Ed Ratliff will check in. But right now, Denver has called a timeout. 6:36 to go in this third period of play. This reminder, immediately following the conclusion of this telecast, the U.S. Grand Prix from Long Beach.
See what's new today in a Chevrolet.
To the more than 600,000 people who bought the new Chevrolet during its very first year, thank you. You've made it the most popular car in America. For the rest of you, a simple reminder. With its advanced design, the new Chevrolet has more headroom, more rear seat legroom, more trunk room, and more. So drive it. The new Chevrolet. Now that's more like it.
You work the docks. Without you, nothing moves. The ships are too big, the loads are too heavy, and the days are too long. But every day, you do it. And when the sun finally drops into the cold water, another ship with a full belly heads out to sea. And you head in for Miller Time. Miller Time. Time to relax with the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer. Miller
learn it tastes too good to hurry through. If you've got the time. Miller
A week from today, the regular season comes to a close, and we'll be there. NBA regional games coming up next Sunday at 1:45 Eastern Time. Let's check on a real fine game in San Antonio between the 76ers and Spurs.
Welcome, those of you who are watching Houston-Denver. That score was incorrect. They have just taken a basket away from the Spurs. So instead of 77-75, it is 77-73. Philadelphia with the lead and the basketball. McGinnis. He's played extremely tough against San Antonio this afternoon.
I watched Mark Olberding on that play, Brent. McGinnis went away from the ball, and Olberding stayed with the ball that time. He can't keep the force to finish the ball.
Keenan backing in to the doctor, Julius Irving. He is assessed a personal.
All right, now watch Keenan back into the doctor on this play. Julius had good position. His legs were spread on that play. Good call by the official.
A 6-point difference in the hemisphere in San Antonio. Olberding gambled and missed, and McGinnis took it in on the penetration. Now the Spurs come out after the miss. Here's Keenan. He can glide. 79-75, 5-17. Mr. K doing it that time. 10 points for Larry.
That shows you how wild these guys are, Brent. That was a terrible fast break, but the ball went in the hole, and that's all that counts.
McGinnis rolls up a miss on the other side. Jones trying to come up. Offensive foul against Caldwell.
Here's a fast break by Larry Keenan, taking the ball, gliding between two players, throwing it up hard off the backboard. Beautiful touch, though, right in.
4 fouls against Caldwell Jones. Billy Fultz, number 5, checks in for San Antonio. Mike Green over to the side. Gale Gervin. Fultz, Dietrich, and Keenan on the floor for the Spurs. Down away from the ball they go. Offensive foul is the call. So, with 4 minutes and 54 seconds to go in the third, Philadelphia leads San Antonio 79-75.
We've seen a wild affair here in the last minute of play. Houston scored twice, then Denver came back. Jones answering here, and John McLaughlin, a steal by Simpson.
Nice play by Bobby Jones going to the basket, but Simpson gets the ball right back because Houston a little too careless with the inbound pass.
The Kellys have a way to save gasoline from the ground up. A steel-belted radial called the Kelly Gas Pincher. When we tested a set of gas pinchers against our non-radials, the gas pincher pinched from 14.5 up to 31.7 more miles out of a tank of gas. That's hundreds of more miles a year with the gas pinchers.
Rolling. Get up there. Get up there.
Hi, this big man here, he runs on hay at Aquapura. But this baby, she runs on gas, and that's where STP gas treatment comes in. You just pump it in your tank, and it goes to work cleaning your carburetor. It's powerful stuff. Open your mouth and say, "Ah, sweetheart."
See what's new today.
Introducing the third generation Monte Carlo. The third generation of a highly successful personal luxury car. Its highly original styling opens new dimensions in affordable luxury and in comfort. With more rear seat headroom, legroom, and hip room than last year's Monte Carlo. The third generation Monte Carlo. Drive it and put a little distance between yourself and the crowd.
Well, the Denver Nuggets with a 12-point lead, and Denver trying to get into the playoffs with a win today, and our coverage of the exciting NBA playoffs begin on Friday, April 14th, 11:30 Eastern Time. Still a lot to be decided who's going to be in there.
Yes, we really don't know who it will be. Milwaukee, Golden State very close. If Milwaukee loses today, they will be tied. Los Angeles only 1 game up on Milwaukee. It's still wide open. Denver, they're still fighting for a playoff berth right now.
Got a foul away from the ball. That'll be Anthony Roberts, number 21, picking up his second foul, and Houston will take it out of bounds. It looked like, John, that Houston was making a move. Then they got a little careless.
Houston was right there, but then they let up just a little. It was either that or Denver tightened up, and they knew that they were a little too close, so let's play the D and put some points on.
Murphy gets one. You know, Houston is only shooting a very, very poor percentage in this game, and now they're starting to pick it up a little bit. Maybe with that, we'll turn the corner for them. 10 points difference now. Hillman. And again, Houston clawing back into this one. John Lucas. Calvin Murphy, and watch him go now, will you?
Well,
this little guy can do it.
That's right. That's their best bet. Get the ball up quickly, go to the little guy and let him go one-on-one or take whatever he can get.
He's got 24 points now, 74-66. About the time you think the Rockets are counted out of this thing, they're right back in. We're inside 4 minutes now, third period. Dave Thompson. There's Cooner, who had 8 rebounds in the first half. Lucas. Oh. Ratliff pulled that one off. I don't know how. And Murphy has hit 3 in a row.
Well, Lucas in that situation trying to go to Ratliff, figuring he's in a little closer, but I think I would have given the ball over to Murphy right away the way he could shoot.
26 points for the little guy. Inside Issel, boy, is he tough. Lonzo Bradley upset. He hit the deck, but no foul.
Bradley did a nice job of coming over to try to help out. Cooner that time fronting Issel, making the pass go over him. The Rockets making a nice play out of it.
20 points for Issel, who did not score in the first period. 76-68. Cooner, he likes that hook. Nice play.
He missed 2 easy ones and made the hard one. Here's the Issel play. Once again, you see Cooner fronting a nice pass inside. Bradley comes over to help out. No charge.
Kevin Cooner now with 10 points. 6-point game again. Houston making a move. Anthony Roberts, he walked with it. You know, Roberts started the last 6 games, and they're just desperate to get that position filled. Now, maybe it's between he and Simpson in the playoffs who will be that 5th starter.
Well, I'm sure it'll go game to game. As you look at Larry Brown, he's a little upset with that turnover. And I mentioned earlier in the telecast, that's something he's been trying to cut down on, turnovers.
6-point lead now. Calvin Murphy trying to cut it to 4. Can't. Oh. Thompson. That's Thompson hustling all the time. Smith back to Thompson. Issel with 20 points. That's what he can do. He can shoot from outside.
Well, he sure can. He goes outside, inside. He's a fine player. But once again, the Houston Rockets not keying on the defensive people, leaving someone like that wide open. Shouldn't happen.
8-point lead again now for Denver. 2:24 to go, third period. The U.S. Grand Prix immediately following the conclusion of this telecast from Long Beach. Darnell Hillman. Roberts. Good hustle by Issel. And Cooner brings it down, and we've got a loose ball foul. It's going to be Anthony Roberts picking up the personal. And now Bobby Jones, number 24, checks back in for Denver. Going out will be Issel. Third foul. Third team foul, I should say, against the Houston Rockets or Denver Nuggets. As now, on the far side, Lucas will bring it in.
Both clubs with 3-team fouls. Houston, offensively, they're getting the ball in deep to Cooner, but he's just not able to put the shot in. He's just 3 or 4 hooks inside.
Trying to cut it to 6. Alonzo Bradley. Boy, he shoots that ball high, doesn't he?
Puts it up there.
Bobby Jones. Smith seeing a lot of playing time, guarding Calvin Murphy. Darnell Hillman, what a move. Hillman with 5 points. Boy, he's exciting. He doesn't do anything that isn't exciting. 10-point
They have a lot
again.
of players with tremendous jumping ability on that club.
There's Calvin Murphy, who won't miss too many of those.
The Rockets today, they run off a spurt, they'll score 3 or 4 baskets, and they'll come up and miss 3 or 4 baskets.
Tough shot by Smith, but he tries to come away with it. Right now, Denver really hustling. Simpson.
Once again, offensive rebounds to get the ball back. Here you'll see Hillman's basket. Penetrates inside, goes up, and leans in a little under Cooner and lays it in.
You know, to Simpson now. There's Tom Nissalke up, indicating the offensive set they're going to use. Simpson now with 14 points. A game like today can maybe get him over the hump.
Yes, obviously he needs something. He doesn't feel that confident. Once again, Bobby Jones comes out, intimidates the ball, deflects it, and makes the steal.
So after cutting it to 6, it's now a 12-point lead, and Denver throws it away.
Now, that was a situation there where actually Bobby Jones should have had his eye on the ball. That was really his mistake, and he just indicated to Smith, that was okay, that was my mistake. But by the same token, Smith shouldn't have given him the ball at that particular situation. Allow Bobby Jones to get down, get set up, call an offensive play and run something.
New York Knicks by 2 over Washington. Both those teams now already have clinched a playoff berth. Mike Dunleavy, number 31, has checked into the game. Bradley having a tough time with Jones. Dunleavy. Cooner trying to follow, and Hillman brings it down. 26 seconds remaining. You see it now on the screen. Bobby Jones. He hit the backboard or the upright. I guess he's all right, though. Boy, I tell you, Jones just continues to put the pressure on the inside.
Boy, he's hurt, too. Last night they said both knees, both elbows, his wrist, and he just now ran into the backstop.
And he's not in the best of health either.
No, he isn't.
He has really had a tough year, but what a gutty performer. They feel he might be the key to this team. When he gets 15 points a game, they win.
That's right. When he scores, they win. That's right.
So there's the end of our third period of play. The Denver Nuggets leading by 14 points, 84-70. We'll be back with the fourth period in a moment.
Sir, what's the hurry? Going to rent a car. Oh, well, you don't have to run. Gotta run. Oh, no, if you had an Avis Wizard number, you could walk. Walk? Call toll-free and let our Wizard system do the running. Just show a major credit card, license, sign, and get the car. I don't have to run through airports? Not with Avis. I can walk through airports.
We try harder, Avis, we don't know another way.
I'm walking through airports.
The NBA on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. This Saturday is more than another day. It's the date for the premiere of the bright new comedy, Another Day. Enjoy it here on CBS.
A 14-point lead here for the Denver Nuggets. Last we checked, the New York Knicks were leading Washington by 3 points. Want to be sure and stay tuned now for the MVP award at the conclusion of this game as John and I are getting together. Let's check on that Knicks-Washington game in Landover, Maryland.
We welcome our Houston-Denver viewers here in Landover, Maryland. The Washington Bullets in the white uniforms. We're down by 4 at the half, down by 13 in the third period, rallied back to trail by 2. And right now they're down by 4 as they have Larry right at the free throw line. This is Don Criqui with Gus Johnson, the Knicks in the blue uniforms. That's how it stands in the third period at Denver. The Nuggets leading the Houston Rockets, a team that knocked off the 76ers their last time out. Houston did that last night. Ray Williams tries to go to the basket, and they call him for a travel.
Very good move by Charlie Johnson. He did a little acting. He didn't call a foul, but he took one large step right there. And the official, Earl Strom, was right on the play.
I tell you, Willis Reed's decorum is most admirable. He's settling everybody down on the bench and not letting anybody shout at the officials. Willis had a little problem earlier.
Well, it's awfully close in the game. A technical right now could be a very turning point.
So we're going to have an inbounds play now coming in for Washington as the ball was tipped away by Knight. Knight's got good quickness. He's a rookie from Notre Dame.
I like him. Very impressive ball player.
Larry Wright looks inside. Here's Rakel blowing the whistle. And now Willis is up.
Very good call out here by Bob Rakel. Willis shouldn't be on the floor. That's a technical foul. Right here's the play. Kupchak leads across the middle, throws an elbow. Now they get the technical foul on Willis Reed, which is well deserved. They may throw him out of the game. Kupchak did throw an elbow, which is not legal to do.
That's how the trouble started up Thursday night.
I don't think really Mitch meant to throw it, but whenever you're going across that middle, guys are pulling on your pants, they're holding on to your waist. You're trying to give your arms free so as you can catch the ball and turn around and shoot it quickly because you don't have much time.
Charlie Johnson misses the technical foul with 9:32 left to play. It is the Knicks 91, the Bullets 87. Willis Reed went out on the floor, and you called it, Gus, and he got the T sign.
Well, Willis knows that he shouldn't do it. He's trying to calm his players down, but at the same time, he gets excited and has to remind himself.
So with 9:24 to go in the third period, it's 91-87, New York. And here's another foul. Loose ball foul on Kobe Knight.
Welcome back to Denver. Gary Bender and John McLaughlin. While you're away, Calvin Murphy hit one from outside. Dwight Jones is able to convert from the free throw line, and they now trail by 10, 84-74, and trying to cut it to 8. That's going to be off of Denver. Every once in a while, John, you get the feeling Denver's going to blow this thing wide open, but here comes Houston back.
the Nuggets don't seem to sustain any type of real pressure on Houston. They seem to open up the lead a little bit and then let Houston up again for some air.
Calvin Murphy, by the way, after scoring that basket while you were away, has 28 points. He's right on target for another 30-point game. Anthony Roberts. Roberts with 6 points.
Here you see the ball go inside to Hillman. Roberts going baseline, and actually the Houston defense just not that good. They're not staying with their people. They're allowing people to go free, push the baseline, getting inside. As you see Smith come back up, and bang!
That's a tough shot to hit. First 2 points for Smith. You know, as a guard playing in your days, you got to pull up and have great body control to get that one to go.
That's not always an easy shot either. You see the Indiana-Boston score, they're keeping that one close, 91-93 Boston.
Dunleavy, we're inside 10 minutes to go now in this fourth period. Murphy missing, that was where he hit just a moment ago. Saved by Smith. Smith wants to play. Look at that, Atlanta, they're going to make the playoffs yet.
They sure are.
And so now, again, after climbing back within 10, it's been bumped up to a 90-74 lead for Denver.
Philadelphia, 87.
Boy, that's a preview of the playoffs, huh? Jones blocked by Jones. Jones on Jones that time. Abdul-Aziz blocked by Hillman.
A beautiful defense, that particular play by Hillman and Jones.
Simpson.
That's when you yelled dance to the ball. It didn't dance quite enough for Ralph. It didn't go down.
But you can see Simpson playing with a lot of confidence right now. He's wanting that ball. He wants to shoot it. As we mentioned earlier, he's been shooting under 30% from the field.
Well, you know, it's easy to be confident when you're ahead and your team feels fairly comfortable. It's when you're behind and you're right in there tight. That's when you have to come up with it.
90-74. Darnell Hillman.
A little long.
Don't have to be very tall to get that rebound, do you? Broken up by Smith. He's fouled and it'll count.
Smith is playing a very fine game, not only offensively. As you see this, he takes the ball away from Calvin just before that. Puts the ball up to Jones. It's very quick. He gets a little push behind by another Jones and have a potential three-point play.
Well, that was Dwight Jones' fourth foul. You know, it'd be interesting to know how many layups in the course of the season Bobby Jones gets, wouldn't it?
Well, it certainly would, and that's why the great shooting percentage. And any player that has a high shooting percentage normally is not just a good shooter. In a lot of situations, he may not be a great shooter. Wilt Chamberlain, for years, led the league in field goal percentage. He wasn't a great shooter, but it was a great percentage shot, and that's a dunk.
You know, Jones in the second half has 13 points. He has 18 for the game. 93-74. Alonzo Bradley, Thompson on him. Houston now trying to get their offense working. Lucas outside. Lucas, an outstanding tennis player, and that left-handed shot. 8 points for him.
Well, his outside shot was somewhat suspect. He's been working on it quite a bit, and it's coming around very nicely.
And, of course, he would be so much better if he had a Rudy Tomjanovich to be passing to. And that's Tom Lagarde.
Another offensive rebound for Denver, and again, Houston just not being aware of keeping them off the offensive board.
Tom Lagarde, who's been slow recovering from that knee surgery he suffered in his senior year at North Carolina. Steal attempt by Jones. What an effort.
Little overlay there. Bobby Jones once again playing the passing lanes very nicely and going after it. Here you see him going inside with the left hand, but watch Tommy Lagarde right there, just puts the ball up.
Well, Bobby Jones is going to come out. Bo Ellis comes in, and the crowd is on their feet applauding.
Apparently they know they can win a playoff berth today also.
Bobby Jones, what an effort. He just plays himself into a puddle every time he comes into a game.
He and Dave Myers of Milwaukee remind me of one another. Not physically strong, but they give you 120 every game.
There's Dwight Jones following a missed Cooner shot. 95-78. There he is. Bobby Jones, fourth-year man from North Carolina. David Thompson. Got a foul coming up against Houston. That's against Bradley, and that's 5 on him. Alonzo Bradley. Tom Nasolke feels that this young man and Robert Reed, they've helped themselves in this year's rookie season for both of them.
Well, they're very obviously getting a lot of playing time, and that's bringing them along, and rookie couldn't ask for a lot more than that.
Milwaukee's gotten back on top, John.
Big game there. All these games are big anymore. All these clubs fighting. Every game's important. It could go right down to the last game of the season.
That's what it's all about. And a week from today, we'll wrap up the regular season of play with NBA regional coverage. And then the playoffs, starting April 14th. Dwight Jones.
Oh, man!
McLeod comes away with a loose ball foul will be on Kevin Kunert. And that'll be 5 on Kevin Kunert. So both Kunert has picked up 5, as has Jones. So we've got a delay in the action now with 6:58 to go. 95-78. The U.S. Grand Prix after this game.
The American family is constantly changing, and that can be rough on a TV. But not on Sears Sensor Touch TV. It changes channels with a touch of a finger. And right now, it's on sale at Sears. Save $100 on this 19-inch tabletop model, or on one of these 3 beautiful consoles, all with a durable solid-state chassis, and an electronic tuner with no moving parts to wear out. Save $100 now on Sears Sensor Touch, the TV built for changing families.
I can't believe they can do it for $19.99.
Installed? The aluminized Sears muzzler is only $19.99 installed. And read the muzzler promise.
Sears promises that the muzzler will last as long as you own your American-made car.
Or return it for refund or replacement free.
And if Sears installed it, they'll install the new one, free. Well, you can't beat that.
I think it's fantastic.
Great promise. Sounds like one heck of a good deal.
The muzzler, only $19.99 installed. Only at Sears.
Well, guys, call it a day.
What a day!
Hey, boss, get them fingerprints, huh? When you've got it, flaunt it.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Give me some dirt, boss.
Yeah, but keep it clean. Kawasaki, let the good tides roll.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Hey, what was the boss before he was a Kawasaki dealer?
He was a ventriloquist dummy.
I don't know if this guy is checking his stock report or what the situation is, but Denver right now having things their way. Let's go now to San Antonio for the Sixers and Spurs game.
Welcome those of you who've been watching Denver and Houston. Here, Larry Keenan has just scored to give San Antonio back the lead. It has been changing hands rapidly here in the hemisphere. 7 minutes for the game. Julius Erving to come back. McGinnis is short, and it goes out of bounds. It'll go to the Spurs. San Antonio trying to beat Philadelphia for the first time this year, and they've got a chance. Up by 1, 6:57. Mo yelling instructions. Erving back. Welcome those of you who have been watching Washington in the Knicks. Philadelphia with the basketball. And Lloyd Freed forcing one as the whistle is called. A foul against San Antonio. Spurs lead it 94-93. It is wild.
Keep a close watch on Mike Gale here. Right at the top of Lloyd Freed's jump, he had that ball blocked perfectly. Lloyd Freed could not get it off. Had to force the shot there. Bill Saar underneath the basket on that play called the foul.
So here is Freed. We have been seesawing in the fourth quarter. San Antonio 8 away at the lead of Philadelphia late in the third quarter. Then it was the former St. John's star, Billy Paltz, who moved his game back outside to finally give the Spurs the lead. McGinnis seized it back. Then it was the Spurs again. Now the Spurs are back as Philadelphia's resumed command. Louis Dampier outside for the Spurs. In and out. McGinnis couldn't hold on. Paltz yelling he was fouled. Underhand. Collins is open. San Antonio screaming there was a foul. 6:18 to go in the hemisphere. Philadelphia leads San Antonio 97-94. Green soars for the rebound.
That was
it's one.
Tremendous follow by Mike Green. About a foot above the rim on that slam dunk.
6 minutes to go with the Knicks leading Washington 100-91. Gale checking free, and it's McGinnis. Back now to 3, and George McGinnis is playing with a lot of confidence, isn't he?
Big George is doing it all.
23 points. Green comes up. All try to keep it in play. Erving on the fly. penalty comes. George McGinnis, 25 points. And it is McGinnis who has quieted San Antonio here in the hemisphere.
There's the doctor making a beautiful pass to George McGinnis. Wide open down the lane for a slam dunk. George
101 to 96.
All right, welcome back to McNichols Sports Arena in Denver. While you're away, the Denver Nuggets have mounted a 20-point lead, 100 to 80. They've done it with very good balanced scoring. Kevin Cooner trying to follow. He got it, and he is fouled. Tom Lagarde, number 45, their number 1 draft pick out of North Carolina, committing the personal.
Here you see the ball go up by Donovan, getting into a lot of traffic there. The Houston Rockets trying to go to the offensive board, doing a pretty good job of it. Cooner getting it back up and in, and that's something they must do. Along with getting back in this game, they're going to have to pressure a little bit more defensively and run the break as you look at the Milwaukee-Detroit score. Big game for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Boy, I tell you, the Bucks have 2 at home and 2 away after today. They've got their work cut out for them, but they're 1 leg up today thus far.
You know, Gary, I think if Houston had their complete team and they did get behind like this, you would see them pressuring and trapping a lot more. Now they're just not able to go into the trapping defenses that Tom Massalke normally would like to run.
Bo Ellis committing the personal foul, and that is his 4th. And they're in the penalty. You know, you look at Denver. Let's look ahead a little bit. They really have 4 games away, 1 at home after today. So if they could clinch at least a playoff, that would take a little of the pressure off of them as they go on the road.
Well, I think it's important for them to win this game, and I talked to Larry Brown about pressure. I said, well, what is the problem? Why aren't you getting that consistency? Do they feel the pressure? He says, no, they don't feel the pressure, which I don't really understand. Then why not the consistency, and why aren't they really playing the way he would like for them to play if they don't feel pressure?
Well, let me ask you something. Last year, Denver faded, too. They started out
well. You know, they've had a history of that, and perhaps even though there are a lot of different players on this club now, perhaps that's something that they think about.
100 to 84 our score. Robert Smith picked up by Calvin Murphy. Bo Ellis. Lagarde getting some playing time. 4.5 minutes to go in this one. Ellis with C.J. Kupek on him. And we've got a foul on Kupek. Zaid Abdul-Aziz checking in, the former Iowa State standout. Some people might remember him as Don Smith when he played with Milwaukee, went out to Seattle. Big, rugged rebounder. That's quite a trade the Bucks made that involved him.
Yes, it was. Don had perhaps his best years in Milwaukee, and outstanding rebounder. Could go to the offensive board, but in particular, he was a defensive rebounder.
This is Bobby Wilkerson coming in, and Ralph Simpson checks out. Simpson gets in a round of applause, and he has not heard that very often this year.
He hasn't probably at all. This is by far his best game since he's been back with the Denver Nuggets.
Boy, he'd like to get back into that niche where he averaged over 20 points 6 years.
He used to have great games every night here.
There's that Murphy spot. They better just give that to him after the game is over. He has 30 points, and that's right on his average, what he's averaged since the All-Star break.
And he has a spot like that on 22 courts.
The 5'9", he said, I'm the only normal-sized guy out here. Nice tip by Lagarde. Have you ever watched Calvin Murphy do that baton twirling act?
It's amazing. I think he could shoot the ball and twirl 2 batons at the same time. An amazing little guy.
Quite a gentleman, too. Tom Massalke has nothing but fine things to say about him. Look at that one. 32 points for number 23.
Well, your best hope is try to keep him away from the ball or keep the ball away from him, but that's not always easy because he is probably one of the 2 or 3 quickest guys in basketball.
He was 7th in the NBA in scoring coming in here, just under a 25-point average. Simpson, check that. Roberts missing. Kupek hits the deck. 3.5 minutes to go in this one. Again, the U.S. Grand Prix. Ken Squire standing by in Long Beach. Mario Andretti, Nicky Lotta. Live coverage after this game is over. I tell you, Smith's probably glad to see Murphy come to town because he gets to play more. He's played a lot today. Wilkerson.
Looks like bookends out there.
You know, Wilkerson, you didn't hear much about him in Indiana. He had so many big names alongside him, but, boy, he's going to have quite a career in the NBA.
Jump center at Indiana. Isn't that amazing? Boy, he can really get up also. This Denver Nuggets team has so many guys that can go up in the air. It's ridiculous.
That's a blocking foul on Roberts, and we've got a timeout now with 2:57 left. 4th foul on Anthony Roberts. So the Denver Nuggets are just 2 minutes and 57 seconds away from clinching a playoff spot.
turned a dangerous ledge of new powder into a harmless pile of snow. Now's the time to head for the best-tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
It's a fresh new slice of apple pie from Chevrolet to you. A fresh new slice of apple pie from Chevy Malibu.
We saw you coming, America, and here we are with a new mid-size Malibu wagon designed to carry you well into the years ahead. With mileage estimates no other mid-size six-cylinder wagon can top, with all kinds of room inside, plus a smart new look that's not going to go unnoticed.
A fresh new slice of apple pie called Chevy Malibu.
At your Chevrolet wagon stop now.
Impossible.
America's waking up to the impossible shave. Atra, the first razor with a head that pivots for closeness with comfort you never thought possible.
Impossible.
This Atra face-hugging action keeps twin blades at the perfect angle.
Such closeness with so much comfort, it's impossible!
Gillette Atra, the impossible shave. And look for this free travel kit offer when you buy an Atra razor.
That is Dan Issel's young daughter. She's happy. Her daddy scored 22 points today and is a candidate for our MVP.
She moves a lot better than he does, doesn't she?
Better footwork. Better looking, too, right?
She doesn't run over people when she makes that move.
Okay, well, we're going to be coming up with that MVP. I'd say I have two candidates right now, Jones and Issel.
Oh, really? I hadn't even thought about that.
I'm sure you haven't.
Let's throw it to Stinner. You want to do that?
Bob Stinner, our producer, is waiting to see if we can agree to disagree.
It is difficult. I agree. It's one of the two, and I think I know who I'm going to go with. I'm going to keep it as a secret.
All right, you're going to put the pressure on.
That's right.
All right, Dunleavy makes it a 105-89 game. Well, Denver had to claw uphill in this one. They trailed by 12 in the first period, but it's been their ball game in the second half. Lagarde having a tough time with it. Zaid Abdul-Aziz. It's going to be off of who? It's going to be off of Denver. It'll be Houston basketball. Little indecision there.
Both teams in the penalty now. I don't know if it matters that much, but the score the way it is, the Rockets must continue to apply the pressure as much as possible.
We're going to keep you posted on the rest of the activity. A big game down there in San Antonio. We'll be switching a few minutes to go there to see how that one's developing. Dunleavy. Bo Ellis brings it off to Anthony Roberts. Inside, 2.5 minutes to go. Bobby Wilkerson off to Lagarde. Robert Smith. Well, this little guy had a lot of tenacity. 107-89 our score here. (107-89). The Denver Nuggets looking for victory number 45 on the year. 2:07 to go. Now let's check on that San Antonio-Philadelphia game being played down in the Lone Star State.
Welcome those of you who have been watching Denver and Houston. This is a dandy. Keenan for San Antonio, but traveling was called. San Antonio trails Philadelphia 107-105. 152 left. Billy Cunningham trying to make it a clean sweep over his buddy Doug Moe. Both came out of Brooklyn. Both came out of North Carolina. McGinnis over to Collins. Partially blocked. Keenan off. Spurs again shooting for the tie for Doug Moe. Timeout has called. Moe wants to set a play. Down by one field goal in 1:37, and immediately after this game, the U.S. Grand Prix West, Long Beach, California. Last year, Mario Andretti and Nicky Lauda dueled until Andretti won it by a second. 107-105, 76ers.
All right, there's our scores. We wind down now. You see the time remaining. 1:38. Alonzo Bradley at the line. This young rookie had some moments of really impressing you here at McNichols Sports Arena. Ed Ratliff coming in for Calvin Murphy. So Calvin Murphy checks out with 32 points. There's Ratliff. The leading scorer as far as Denver is concerned, Issel with 22, Jones with 18, Simpson with 19, 17 for Thompson. Good balanced scoring for the Denver Nuggets. Foul on Bo Ellis. Ellis has picked up a bundle of fouls in this game. That's his fifth. John McLaughlin standing by. Will be interviewing our MVP for today's game. Also, we will be talking hopefully to Calvin Murphy. As he's going in, blocked by Bobby Wilkerson. Houston will reset it. Houston with the next to worst record in the NBA, but you can understand why, because of the many, many injuries that they've had. Dunleavy. And Dunleavy makes it 107-94. Bobby Wilkerson, Ratliff on him, Tom Lagarde. Big husky guy. Ratliff comes away with it. We have a minute to go. Drew Beck with Ellis on him. Dunleavy and Abdul Aziz. So now let's switch back to San Antonio. An update on the Sixers and Spurs.
Welcome those of you watching Denver and Houston. Here you're going to watch San Antonio go for the tie. Mike Gale with control against Lloyd Free of Philadelphia. Spurs down, it is Durbin inside who passed it back, and Oberding. Mark Oberding took the pass from Durbin. 107 all. Oberding comes out. They're going to overplay McGinnis right now. He's been red hot. Look at Oberding. They've got to try to deny him the ball. He's got his confidence. They want him to go that way. They get him in there. He gives it back on the pass as Collins is rolling. And it's going to come up the other way. San Antonio will go for the lead.
Here's George on the outside, taking the baseline. Now watch. Gervin underneath gets good position on that play. George McGinnis runs into him, knocks him down. Makes up defense.
Lead, Washington, 110-107. 44 seconds to go in that one. Here we're tied with a minute to go. 107. The two best teams in the Eastern Conference. Gervin and Collins. Offensive foul is called. That is 5 against George Gervin. His fifth foul. And I would have to say that on defense, Doug Collins has more than held his own against George Gervin, and the key has been the effectiveness to draw the charge from Gervin. 3 offensive fouls against Gervin, but Philadelphia turns it over, and the Spurs will be able to come down. 46 seconds, tied at 107.
That's the problem, Brent. When you've got one guy out front dominating the ball all the time, the other guy's standing around. Lloyd Free just bounced it off his foot instead of passing the ball.
Hawks gave it right back to the corner to Mike Gale. Gale has it hit by Free. Hawks. Shot clock is a factor. Oberding again. Got it at the buzzer as the shot clock goes off. Now they want timeout, but McGinnis came up, and now McGinnis calls time. He wanted to get court position, so they were screaming for timeout. It was McGinnis against 5 players in white jerseys, just dribbled it right up. Timeout has been called. 109-107. 16 seconds for Philadelphia to tie San Antonio.
Yeah. 2:30 this morning?
Yeah, I didn't sleep. I got till 4.
109-100, our final here. The Denver Nuggets now have clinched a playoff spot as they have defeated the Houston Rockets. Outstanding balanced scoring in that ball game. Issel with 22, and now let's go to John McLaughlin with Bobby Jones and Dan Issel.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you very much. I have 2 pretty good players here, Bobby Jones, Dan Issel. Bobby Jones, once again, 64% from the field. Bobby, do you feel any pressure? You're leading the NBA in field goal percentage, and you're closing in on Johnny Green's field goal percentage record. Do you feel that at all when you go into the game?
No, not really. We don't have a chance to do that because we're kind of struggling right now, and we're looking to win some games. And so I'm taking some shots that maybe aren't high percentage shots. I'm just trying to, help the team. And, today I got a lot of layups off our break, but I'm not looking for the easy shot all the time.
Okay, Bobby. I got to throw it back to Gary for just a moment. We'll get an opportunity to come back and talk to Dan. Back to you, Gary.
Okay, John, we've got a development down that Philadelphia-San Antonio game. Brent Musburger, Keith Erickson. Let's join them down there. San Antonio again.
Welcome to Denver, Houston, folks. Philadelphia going for the tie. Time remaining in the game in the right-hand corner. Collins from the side. It's off. San Antonio, if they can run it out, is going to win, but there's a foul. Hold it. Bill Starr has his hand up in the air. He's got a foul back underneath. And time continued to run.
George McGinnis making a good point here.
It is going to be against three, but George McGinnis is saying the clock continued to run. And McGinnis saying, come on, seconds ran out.
All right, let's watch this again. 7 seconds. The foul was called right there with 5 on the clock.
So they lose 1 second. It shows 4, but I guarantee you that if we were playing in Philadelphia, it would probably be 6, right? I mean, you got to have the advantage at the home court score.
I'd say it's worth more than a second, Brent.
Here's Fultz. With the 76ers just over that penalty limit. So 4 ticks of the clock left. A 4-point lead. And Philadelphia will try to score quickly, probably arch a long pass and then get a turnover. I've seen some very strange things happen in this league with just 4 seconds remaining. San Antonio with a chance to beat Philadelphia for the first time this year. And that really sets up the drama for the playoffs, doesn't it, with these two teams favored to reach the final of the Eastern Conference. And, of course, right after this game, we'll have automobile racing, the U.S. Grand Prix West, live coverage from Long Beach, California. And that's immediately after this. Keith Erickson, have you decided about your most valuable player yet?
Well, I like Billy Fultz in this game, Brent. I think he's done a heck of a job. What do you think?
I'll tell you, ordinarily I would vote for George McGinnis. He played such a good game. I'll tell you what, if San Antonio wins it, I'm going to go for Billy Fultz and we'll make it unanimous. Okay? But I want to reserve my vote or hold it back.
You're giving Philadelphia a chance to win this game yet. Down 4 with 4 seconds to go.
Honest goodness, Keith, I have never seen such wild things happen in this league as with just a handful of seconds to go. The key thing is that the clock doesn't start until the ball is touched by a player on that pass, so it's not when you throw it inbound.
Well, Philadelphia is going to try and go inside and get a 3-point play. I would say that one of the big guys is going to take that ball and drive it to the hole, try and get a 3-point play, and then they're just going to have to steal the ball immediately. If they can't steal it, they're going to have to foul and hope that the San Antonio player misses the free throws. Brent, like you said, anything can happen at this time of the game. 4 seconds is a lot of time.
But they are confident in San Antonio that they have beaten the 76ers for the first time this year. They are on their feet. Everyone is standing in the hemisphere.
San Antonio has their big lineup in the game. Mike Green and Billy Fultz, Olberding and Keenan.
Collins looking. It'll be McGinnis. Dribbles once. In and out, and that'll do it. San Antonio beats Philadelphia 111 to 107.
Brent, if they were...
I've got you. Well, the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player Award goes to this young man, Bobby Jones. The reason? 18 points and 8 rebounds. So the Chevrolet $1,000 scholarship will be awarded to North Carolina on behalf of Bobby Jones. For John McLaughlin, this is Gary Bender saying goodbye from the Nichols Sports Arena in Denver with a final score. Denver winning 109-100 over the Houston Rockets. And remember, don't go away because next CBS Sports brings you live the U.S. Grand Prix West to the streets of Long Beach, California. Last year's winner, Mario Andretti, will be defending his victory where he finished in front of Nicky Lauda by less than a second. And on Friday night at 11:30 Eastern Time, join us for a CBS boxing special that features a super lightweight bout between Bruce Curry and Monroe Brooks.